What is a simple, painful fact that people need to just get over and accept? An apology without corrective behavior is just manipulation. Don't apologize if you're not going to change, and yes, sometimes that means walking away and leaving things unresolved. It's still better than letting a bad situation go on for longer than it has to. Yes, so many people apologize just to get out of trouble. For anyone who does this, or is dealing with someone who does this, there is a great book called Why Won't You Apologize? By Harriet Lerner. It is helping my partner, the former master of empty apologies, understand me better. Everyone makes a certain amount of money at their job. It should be okay to talk about salaries. There's this faux pas in society that says you can't talk about money, how much people make, etc. People just need to talk about it and share and make it more open. It would probably cut down on people being underpaid. I feel like it's also societally taboo because a lot of people divvy out respect based on money. So discussing salary is like telling people what you're worth but also what you're worth, which is still stupid and needs change, but it's multifaceted. I read something on a website a long time ago that had general rules of life. The one has always stuck with me. Said something along the lines of, people operate from the same two motivations, to fulfill their desires and to escape their suffering. Always really liked that. When someone screws you over, it's almost never personal, just someone looking out for themselves. The way that someone treats others is how they will treat you. That person who cheated on their partner with you is going to cheat on you with someone else. The friend who talks shit about everyone once they leave the room definitely also talks shit about you too. These types of people are not going to magically stop being toxic just for you, no matter how much they pretend you're special to them. Being a decent human being is way more important in the grand scheme of things than anything you can buy, brag about, or put on TikTok. Social media will have you believe that your makeup skills, world travel, trendy clothes or fancy digs matter. You can enjoy superficial stuff but it doesn't mean anything. Superficial possessions are literally meaningless. Being a kind and decent human being, on the other hand, means you are without a doubt touching lives of others in little ways every single day, and you likely don't even know it. Decent people leave a wake of gentle love behind them all the time. I think about people I've known like this really nice bus driver I had on a route I took frequently. He brought laughter to all of us and I still remember him 30 years later. I didn't quite appreciate nice, maybe dorky, good people until I was past my teens. I also figured out that if you can begin to appreciate quiet kindness in others, you're on your own way to becoming a decent human. Professors in universities need to realize that you can't stop cheating if you keep reusing the same damn test every year. Cheating, at least in uni, is often a systematic problem, not a personal problem. If half of the class is cheating, it's because the students either see little value in your course, or they don't see any benefits in doing it honestly. Your job as a professor or teacher isn't to just hand out tests and lecture, it's to teach the students the topics. I've had so many colleagues of mine complain about their whole class cheating and threatening to report, but what is that going to do? It'll just demotivate them. They could be incredibly intelligent kids, but you will never know because you never put in the effort to give a test you haven't reused that past 20 years, or give a damn about their education. It's the same way with pirating movies and music. At some point most movie watchers didn't see any value in paying $20 for a DVD they're only going to watch once. Did cracking down on websites stop the momentum? Hell no, it made it better. You know what did? Netflix and Spotify, they offered a more direct service. The majority of humans are unwilling to engage in emotional labor and most simply practice emotional embellishments and how to pass their blame. This is where the majority of mental health problems come from because of the amount of deceptive emotional tactics many utilize. Expecting others to care about you or even others expressing care about you that aren't part of your inner circle is a ticket that will take you to a special kind of hell. Life is not simple. Virtually nothing fits into the neat, clean-cut, black and white, tidied little boxes we like to put things in. Race isn't binary. You can be black, white, Asian, and a handful of other ethnicities all at once. Sexuality, gender, religion, politics, and even cat versus dog preference all exist on grand spectrums. Treating people you disagree with as being in box B while you're in box A is just a way for you to trivialize their human complexity in order for yourself to feel good about your own ideas. Your parents can be absolutely well respected and loved by their peers, can even be very good people overall, but still bad at parenting. I still can't resolve this in my own mind sometimes. How my parents achieved so much but managed to be very bad for my anxiety and mental health. They just didn't know how to talk to me properly about anxiety, and I guess they thought I'd grow out of it. I sure showed them. Sob. Nobody is destined to love you. There is no the one ordained by fate to accept you as a romantic partner. Love takes work, on both yourself and the relationship. Someone one day will tell you they love you, and not mean it. Someone will say it and mean it, and still hurt you. This isn't a call to ignore love or excuse abuse, but love takes risk, and it's never the right time. There will always be work, or money concerns, or personal problems, or something you're dealing with. All of that stuff is called life, and we're all doing it. You need to make love and self-improvement a priority, or nothing will change. 99% of the bad things that have happened in your life are a direct result of your own decisions. Take accountability for your actions and don't beat yourself up over the outcomes. Life's too short, just learn from life's moments and move on. Considering almost all the bad things in my life have happened as a result of a connective tissue disease and an autoimmune disease, I fail to see how this is universally true. No doubt is true for some people, but for others like myself, isn't really true. If I could go on a walk without tearing muscles and ligaments, that'd solve many of my problems. Alas, I guess it's my fault for wanting to walk without fucking myself. You are not right about everything. I don't care about your background, your religious beliefs, your education, your rise from the streets, your ups and downs, your sides to sides, your attitude, you being thrown to the side. You are a fucking snowflake, 1 in 10 million billion. What you know is not what everyone knows. And until you stop putting labels and ideas and thoughts and politics and whatever gives you a boner when you talk, or girl boner, cause I don't know what girl boners are. Listen to those who are different. Understand, it doesn't mean you accept, but it means you don't hate. And can we all agree, hate is a bitch. Most apologies are for the people apologizing and not for the person being apologized to. If you're apologizing to someone about something you can't undo or fix, the apology is for you. It's so that you can sleep at night again. I do not screw with these kind of apologies. No nice closure talks for cheaters. No nice understanding discussions for the friend that deliberately lied, etc. I listen to apologies for things that are sincerely accidental and only if someone is offering to do something to remedy it. Otherwise, the most moral thing is for the person to live with it. It's why I don't believe forgive and forget is good advice to give. It's just ridiculous. If somebody actually did something seriously wrong, shame on you for crying if they do it again. TLDR, we all know most apologies are BS. Government is not your best friend, so don't get heartbroken if you pay all those taxes and they still treat you like a boss when you go to get your health card, driver's license renewed and go to get other simple things done, and always make a play on their end, with a note for the degree of consistency, like you're asking for the world, when their necessary funding, to stay in business, so to speak, comes solely from the category you belong to, which is taxable citizenry, which always experience that more or less. Get used to that. That's never going to change. Bureaucracy. What you think about very often becomes what your brain occupies itself with thinking about. We all, even neurodivergents, can take responsibility for what we allow to occupy our thoughts. If you're always studying your happiness or your unhappiness, those become your resting thoughts. It affects the lens through which you see the world. Maybe you aren't actually cynical, distrustful, or jaded. It could just be bad thinking habits. Not everything that happens to you is your fault, but it is your responsibility to respond to it. Too many people just simply refuse to take responsibility for the things in their life they aren't happy with. People need to grow up and realize they have two choices: do something about it or accept it. Bitching and moaning as though life owes you something different is childish. That isn't to say you shouldn't mourn when bad stuff happens. Life can be harsh and cruel, and when bad shit happens it is more than fair to mourn those bad things, but eventually you have to either adopt and move on, or accept it and move on. Always give everyone you love everything you can in conveying your love and affection for them, so when one of you die, nothing else could have been done and death is easier and living too. Even the people you momentarily hate and people who've wronged you. If you're fighting with a loved one, and you go to get away from them, still express your love for them. Imagine dying before you can heal any temporary damage that in the long run is insignificant. The world will never bend over backwards to accommodate you. If you're triggered by something, that's a personal issue because you were the one who had adverse reactions to a subject or an idea. No one will really ever accept your neopronouns. Most of them are ridiculous and illogical, and they'll never widely be accepted by the greater society. Fat people are not supposed to be fat. The human body is scientifically not designed to hold that much body weight. For them to complain about not fitting this planet is just another personal issue. Stop being lazy and expecting everyone to accommodate you. They don't have to if they don't want to or don't agree with you. Life is pain. Everyone will let you down at some point. Everybody you know will betray you at some point. Not everybody that you meet will like you even if they have no apparent reason to dislike you. Social standing, income, personal health beliefs and morals, and who you perceive yourself to be are all meaningless, as we're all just marching towards a hole in the ground. There are no higher entities. If somebody can prove it, I'll believe. But it's not up to me to disprove your statements to the contrary. We need to cut all foreign aid and stop allowing mass immigration. The United States has so many problems of our own with our citizens. The fact that we seem obsessed with aiding other countries' citizens blows my mind. There are so many problems going on in our own backyards and we're failing to come up with ways to solve them and make things better. I'm not saying ignore the world's issues, but we need to solve ours first. If we really want to help the world, we need to get our own shit together and stop allowing our citizens to suffer from stupid laws, inaction, and the misuse of American tax dollars, among the hundreds of other problems. You are your job. All you are to society. The world is what you do that contributes. The world doesn't care if you're a nice person if you sit around all day doing nothing. From an article by David Wong, Jason Pargin. Some people want to respond with Tyler Durden's line from Fight Club. You are not your job. But, well, actually, you totally are. Granted, your job and your means of employment might not be the same thing, but in both cases, you are nothing more than the sum total of your useful skills. For instance, being a good mother is a job that requires a skill. It's something a person can do that is useful to other members of society. But make no mistake, your job, the useful thing you do for other people, is all you are. https://www.cracked.com/blog/6 harsh truths that will make you a better person. At least in the USA, there are hundreds of millions of privately owned firearms and probably billions of rounds of ammunition. It is literally impossible to confiscate all of that, and the overwhelmingly vast majority of gun owners are not violent or dangerous people. You will never get anywhere near total confiscation, and any real attempt will lead to a second civil war, or at minimum hundreds of thousands of individual gunfights. Lots of gun owners are not violent people, but will stand and defend their rights to the death if someone comes to try to illegally take their rights away. On TikTok there was a story on how a boy attempted a bloody murder just because 2 girls teased him. I don't think what the girls did was right, but I don't think attempting murder because of teasing isn't justified. I found PPL in the comment section justifying his actions. When I commented on that, there would be boys replying about how they would do the same or they deserve it. The truth is there are terrible people everywhere. I have been harassed, bullied, abused, assaulted, Yet I have never tried to murder anyone. If I did, I would be a serial killer. You need to control your emotions. It's necessary if you want to survive in this world. If you message somebody on the internet, nobody is obligated to reply completely, let alone be nice to you. Women are flooded with disgusting messages from all over. I have literally been hit on via the chat feature in Words with Friends. Nobody cares if you think you are the nicest person in the world. Nice is the bare fucking minimum, not a personality. It doesn't matter if the target didn't like your message, you hit on a high volume day, she is tired, or whatever. No answer is an answer. Do not be shitty. Even if it is a dating website, no answer is an answer. Even if you think your target is perfect, she might not agree. No answer is an answer. Similar thing. Do not bother women in public. Nobody has the fucks to give if you feel a profound need to shoot your shot in a grocery store, coffee shop, parking lot, whatever. Be prepared to be told to go to hell and dress for warm weather on that hike down. People care about you way less than you think. We are all the hero in our own story, the center of our own universe. Naturally we think that everyone cares about us a great deal. How can you not care about the protagonist? The reality is that we're all so busy trying to exist in our own bodies that we simply aren't paying attention to those around us. Demonizing people because of their opinions, views does absolutely nothing but cause collateral. People have different views because we all grew up in different situations. Daniel hates women because his mom was never there for him and his aunts were abusive. Stacy always has a positive outlook on life because she's gone through so much shit but never let that tie her down. If you want the people to think like you, persuade them. Hitting people with a mental stick is not persuasion. It's abuse. You can't change someone's mind without delving into the root of the problem, and if you don't care enough about the root of their views, then mind your business entirely. No matter how much you do for a person, company, or just how much good in general, you are not owed anything. There is no magic karma that will come back to you. You won't be shielded from the negatives of the world because you're a decent person. You will still get cancer. You can still get mugged. You can still have your car stolen. You can still fall into crippling debt, etc. Do good to those who do good to you, but no need to bend your back for everyone. Just because it is a hard subject to talk about doesn't make it go away. Could be to do with relationships or world issues, but by not facing it you are actively making it worse. You are, no matter what, a monster in someone's story and in at least one person's story. That assessment is completely accurate. You can be a generally good person, but everyone at some point has done hurtful things to others. Someone is in therapy and discussing how shitty you made them feel. It's a hard truth, but we should remember that no one's all good or bad. Life isn't fair. Some people are incredibly fortunate and others are not, and often people's lots in life are not related to any innate talents. Every child deserves parents, but not every parent deserves children. Children can and do experience mental illness and they do need medication and therapy, and that feels like a conversation no one is ready to have. Nobody except, maybe, your family will care about you unconditionally. Even genuine, healthy friendships and relationships are predicated upon your adding something positive to the lives of those around you. You and your life are irreplaceable and have a measurable intrinsic value, but that proverbial money doesn't spend with the overwhelming majority of people with whom you will have relationships. What you have to offer and add to people's lives doesn't have to be spectacular, unique, or even uncommon, but it does have to be something that they will value. That can be something as superficial as humor or a reassuring presence, or as precious as loyalty and emotional availability. But if you ever have even two people in your life who will love you and watch out for you just because you're you, you've got more than most people do. Take a serious moment to reflect that eventually we will all breathe our final breath and cease to exist. I present the painful fact of life. There is always a chance you won't be here next week. People live their lives thinking, when I grow old and turn 80 inches, but most of us won't reach that age. Please, take a healthy balance of enjoying life while you can and don't take this time for granted. Don't be scared of death every day, but make sure you live while you work. That China is the #1 country in the world. In 40 octoseconds built 40 cities with 1 M plus ppl. Every 2 years since 2012, they pour more concrete than all of the USA in its history. Took the lead in most scientific papers published by country, most high-speed rail track laid, moved more ppl out of poverty into middle class than any time in all of world's history, has the largest radio telescope in the world, currently building particle collider 2x size of CERN. These are just scratching the surface.